What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about TAR's AI, TAI today. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it. All right, here we are at about 11 cents. What else is new? We've been here for a few days now. Yeah, quite literally a few days. It's funny, man. It's funny how the brain works. For me, 11 cents seems too low, but I swear I remember just a week ago we were buying this thing down at 6 cents and beyond and lower, right? So here we are at 11 cents now, just not even a week later. It's kind of funny how bored you can get, especially whenever this immediate gratification is coming in and then you're moving sideways, consolidating, waiting on this thing to move up higher. I do think it'll move higher, but with this little bit of a stop here, it does bring the question to mind: do we consolidate a little bit first? And from a low to a high here, if that is the high, and I think it is the high, the expectation could be that we go down to about 10.7 cents, 10.6 cents to find support, which we're pretty damn close to doing that right now. The expectation could be that we go all the way down to the 382, get a quick little quote unquote shakeout down to about 9.5 cents, something down there, find support there, and then continue to bounce. It's very common when you have a powerful move like this to bounce off your 382, and that's right at about 9.5 cents there. So I think that you do find support. I think that you do continue to climb afterwards. I wouldn't be surprised if we went down there, but I also wouldn't be surprised if we would go higher, and I'll explain that in a second. The reason why we're talking about the lower prices right now is you do have a little bit of a rejection look on your overbought area. The fact that you got to a 68, you don't need to get to the 70. You don't actually have to hit the line to reject it, right? Being in this area here, if you start moving down, this could be a rejection off the overbought zone and set you up for a potential bounce off the 60 or off of the 50. Either of those, I think, would be enough to bring us down to prices that are below 10 cents, right? And we'll see if it happens. But overall, I do believe that we're going to move higher because we are in the middle of a bull flag breakout from a low here to a high there. Putting it at the low here, right there. The expectation would be that we see prices all the way up at about 37.4 cents by the end of this endeavor. I don't know when it's going to happen. I got to admit, over the last 2 days, I would have expected that we continue to grow, but it'll probably happen over the coming weeks. Certainly by the end of this month of May, I think that it'll happen. From the current price of about 11 cents right here, let's just see, hold on. That would give you an overall growth of about a 3.4x. So I could see that happening certainly over the coming weeks, if not even over the coming days. This thing does like to move fast. Here, if we're looking at this from the low point here to the high point there, that was an 8-day period. We're from the low point here, we're on 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the 5th day. Maybe 5 days from now, maybe 10 days from now, we're up at these higher price targets that we're calling for, up at about 37 cents, something like that. If we're looking at the 4-hour time frame, this is where I get a little bit of hope that we might not move down, because we are getting some volume here that's trying to push. You're getting some sell volume here. Even on the upside, you're getting some selling volume that is trying to push the price down, and we just can't seem to go down. We're just very high and tight in this consolidation, and that's actually a really good thing. The higher we go with our lows, and we're getting higher lows throughout this whole thing, and the lower we go with our lows in the RSI, and we are getting lower lows throughout this whole thing, that actually sets us up for a very bullish scenario where you're maintaining your price efforts, but you're cooling off on your indicator. You're not hot anymore on the indicator. You've cooled off and you're ready to get hot again and run. This is actually really nice. This kind of consolidation is very ideal for this exact reason, right? Looking at the 4-hour time frame, we are at this area here where we bounced from before, where we found support, and we continue to run here. We could go lower. We don't have bearish divergence or anything like that getting in our way. There's nothing that would suggest that. If anything, we have hidden bullish divergence. But let's look at the 1-hour time frame. 1-hour time frame here. The 1-hour RSI does look a little bit sad, I will say. It's almost like you have this descending triangle where you've got like lower highs here and then a flat base, right? It's kind of like that. It's not pretty, but it kind of looks like that to me. With the 1-hour, it wouldn't surprise me if we did go lower. And if that's true, we would probably have some resolution by the end of today, right? Today has about 7 hours, 40 minutes left. I would think that if by the end of today we are below, we're below like 10.7 cents by the end of today, then likely we will see prices down at 9.5 cents, at least below 10 cents before we start moving higher. Probably something around this area of prior resistance and confirm it as support, right? Something like that. If we are below here today, by the end of the day, in the next 8 hours or so, we likely will complete the thought and go all the way down to prior resistance for support, which is at about 9.5 to like 9.8 cents, somewhere down there, right? It's not that significant, but still a little bit lower. If we don't do this by the end of today, if we don't see this, then this bearish RSI is lying. It's lying to us. I doubt we just move sideways in a straight line. If we start moving up from here, we get this 1-hour RSI to get above the 60 again. that really does set us up in a nice position to get into the overbought zone. Hold on. And as we get into the overbought zone, we see that's whenever we see our growth come in, right? That's generally where you are growing. I would expect that the next time, and if you get to the overbought zone, you have to have a candle close, not a candle wick. If this wick was a closing period instead of a wicking period, we would have been overbought. My thoughts are we get overbought, we're breaking out of this, we're continuing on our path higher. The reason why I'm a little bit surprised and why I'm hesitant to say that we're doing it immediately right now, I'm not just boldly looking at this thing in the face of despair and death and saying, we're not going to go lower, we're going to go higher, right? Sometimes I like to do that. But the reason why I'm hesitant to do that is because there is a real chance that we could go lower. And the reason why is it all stems from here. It all stems from here. So from a high to a low, I believe, if I'm doing this right. Maybe it's a low. No. It would be the low to the high. Low to the high. That's the one we want. Low to the high. Yeah. We've closed above the 236. And generally speaking, in these kind of consolidation patterns, whenever you close above the 236, that's a green light, not a red light, not a yellow light. It's a green light for a continuation, that you will see prices above this high. That's what it is. Whenever you close above the 236, that's what it normally implies. The fact that as soon as we closed above it, we've been stalled now for 2 days. We even have some selling pressure, it looks like, on a wicking basis. It makes me wonder. It makes me wonder if we do, in fact, test back the 236 before moving up higher. And that'd be the ultimate kind of confirmation too, bouncing off this area right there at about 9.6 cents. If we go a little bit below 9.5 cents, that's fine too. You could go lower and still be fine, but I don't think that we go below this low, and I would really be surprised if we went too much below like 9.5 cents. I don't think that we're going to do that. But that's the only reason. This is kind of the main reason why I think that we could consolidate, is because we should, I think over the past 2 days now, have continued higher, but we haven't. And we haven't, maybe because we're just taking a pause and then we'll get ready and move up. It's kind of weird, but it happens. Or maybe it's because we need to back test prior resistance as support, prior support as support even, and then just the 236 as support as well, confirming that we are in fact ready to move higher. So whether it's today or tomorrow that we start moving up higher, whether it's later this week or sometime early next week that we start to move higher, I don't think it really matters, right? I don't care. We are going to see higher prices in a very, very short amount of time with TARS. We're very close to getting into our overbought zone. Once we get overbought on the daily, once we separate from this high, I think the next stopping point that we go to, let's just see here from a high to a low, the next stopping point that we would go to is at about 25 to 35 cents. Yeah, that's where we're going to go. And that should sound familiar because that's also where our measure move is. It's actually, I think the measure move is a little bit above 35 cents if I remember correctly. Yeah, it's a little bit above there. 38 cents is the measure move. So something in that zone. This, by the way of the fibs, this would be our formal next target area. By the way of the measure move, this would be the next target area. So anything between, I would say, let's say 35 cents to 50 cents is probably what I would expect. Something in this area. I'm going to nix the sub 35 cent targets, because if that's our measure move, the closest fib to that would be the 886, and that's at 35 cents. I don't think that we stop at anything less than 35 cents. If we do, maybe momentarily, maybe we find a little bit of turbulence here, whatever, but then continue moving up. But overall, this move is going to progress higher by the end of this month. Probably, if not by the end of this week, by the end of next week, we'll be at dramatically higher prices. So that's all I got. I hope you liked the video. If you do, hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'm not selling any of my TARS. I'm not selling any of it at this point in time. I was thinking about taking some profits for XCN, because XCN, I'm a little bit more confident. XCN looks like it wants to move up sooner than TARS, but TARS could move up just the same. I was actually thinking about taking some profits because XCN here moving down like this with the volume coming in, right? But you're not going anywhere. You're just here. You've got selling pressure coming in, but you're not going anywhere. That's often actually a bullish kind of case, and this might signal a really good buying opportunity. But the thing is, with TARS, we could see a 3x move here. With XCN, we could see a 3x move. I'm not going to sell my TARS and move it around for the exact same potential. You know what I mean? I was thinking about taking some profits and then putting it in there, but I don't think that I'm going to. I think I'm just going to hold this and let it ride. So anybody watching this, if you watched my XCN video where I was talking about taking profits, I'm not going to take profits, man. I think I'm just going to let it ride. And yeah. Anyways, I'm rambling at this point. I've been doing that a lot this morning. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye.